What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? Hello, chatters. I'm back. I'm alive. I didn't go nowhere crazy. I just was here trying to take care of some stuff. 'Twas all. That was really it. It wasn't nothing super crazy. Um, yeah, it wasn't nothing super crazy. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube, uh, whatever timeline that you're watching this, welcome to the Cozy Corner podcast. I am your host with the most, Bambi, aka Bambi X Bambi, and yeah, man, this is just a podcast about you know what I mean, just being comfortable to talk about the uncomfortable things. Um, so we talk about everything from sports to life to pop culture to um, a little bit of politics to everything in between that. You know what I mean? Uh, and again, I'm not a media personality. Uh, I'm not a journalist. I have no desire to be any of either of those two things. Um, I'm quite simply just a creative individual um, who wanted to design and use his platform uh, in the greatest way possible, in the greatest and most authentic way possible. I can say that. Um, and this is what it is, and this is what it is. So, you know what I mean? If you like what you see, if you love what you enjoy, um, if this face and this voice is something that you enjoy looking at, go ahead, like, subscribe, um, join us on either Twitch or Kick. Um, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The rest of the time, we're only going to be here um, on the Red app for a certain number of days, which we'll get into explaining that a bit later because I don't want to spoil the news and the vibes. Oh yeah, I just don't want to spoil what I have planned out to announce for my notes. If you are new here, yes, I take notes for I make notes for this day specifically, um, because my attention deficit being high definition. As my favorite streaming koala OM Jess would say. Um, but yeah, nevertheless, Moving onward, church announcements. First and foremost, it would I would be remiss, um, and I would be grilled, cussed out, and killed if I did not start off by saying to all of my LGBTQIA plus babies, um, happy Pride Month. Um, you know what I mean? We love y'all. Um, we love y'all. We thank God for y'all. We are happy that y'all are happy. Um, and you know what I mean? And we are happy. You know what I mean? And we celebrate y'all lives. Um, and don't let nobody take this. Like, don't let nobody take this month for you. Take this month from you. Um, because I know it's that thing where a lot of people are gonna be like, "Ugh, Pride Month." Like, I don't get it. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? All of the things. Um, it's that thing for me where it's just like, if you can be just mature enough to understand that everybody's not going to exactly understand and or agree with your lifestyle, but nobody should be hating you or calling you out of your name or making you feel less than for um, the lifestyle that better yet chose you, because I don't want to say the lifestyle that you chose, for the lifestyle that you feel chose you. um, yeah. um, for lack of better terms, fuck them people. Because you know what I mean. 'Cause the grand scheme of it, in the grand scheme of things, with everything, it's just that, like, you know what I mean. The great news about um, uh, the great thing about whatever it is that people are complaining about, as far as your lifestyle choice is concerned, the great news is that really doesn't affect them for real. Um, so that being said, so yeah, with that being said, with that being said, all of that being said, happy Pride Month to all of y'all. Um, Celebrate safely. Um, and turn up, have a good time, be merry in moderation, of course. Um, and also do all of those things responsibly. That's really all that I ask. I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to do it. Um, but yeah, do all of those things uh, comfortably, safely, and responsibly. Comfortably, safely, and responsibly. Also, second church announcement: the Time Sand single is out right now. If you have not heard it, um, go and listen to it. That's the latest single. That's the latest piece of music that we have out. Um, that's the latest major piece of music that we have out. Um, well, no, that's not true. The Genius Freestyle, but that's a That's a freestyle. Um, but if we want to talk about the most recent original piece of music, that's the most original piece of music that's out right now. Um, yeah, that's the most original piece of music out right now. So go and check that out when you the chance. Also, we have the Emo Church Boy Diaries mixtape on the way. It is coming out early July. Um, we are shooting for 4th of July weekend. Um, you know what I mean? It's gonna be. There's a couple of joints on there that you could play at the 4th of July barbecue. Um, I would personally suggest not playing the entire. Would personally not suggest playing the entire thing at the 4th of July barbecue because you'll see why when it comes out. You'll see why I said what I said. But yeah, when that does come out, run the numbers up on that um, and do all of the things. Yes, sounds good. Um, sounds good. Sounds fantastic. Moving onward to the cozy sports segment. Let's talk sports for a little bit. Yeah, NBA finals are coming up this Thursday. Um, yeah, game one of the NBA finals comes on this Thursday. Um, the matchup is now set and in place. Boston Celtics are matching up against the Dallas Mavericks. Um, first of all, before I start to share my thoughts on both sides, on both teams' journeys to this point, um, let me just say, first of all, congratulations to both the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics for both conquering your respective conferences, um, for doing what you have had to do all year long to get yourselves and your team to this point. Um, that is a success and a victory that nobody can take away um, from either of y'all. You guys are champions of the West, and yeah, man, that ain't nothing to sneeze at for real. Yeah, that ain't nothing to sneeze at for real. So, with that being said, congratulations to both of y'all for that. To both of y'all for getting to this point. Now, with my thoughts, we're gonna start with the Eastern Conference team first, and then move from there. With the Boston Celtics journey to this point in the season, um, I will say personally for me, it was between um, either them or the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll be honest. No pun intended, because Giannis Antetokounmpo. But yeah, I had either the Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks um, as a Eastern Conference favorite, as an Eastern Conference representative in the NBA Finals. Now, mind you, um, that was just because of um, I think it's on one of these episodes here on the pod where like I said my piece on that. Um, where just like what I mean. I thought that the Damian Lillard and Giannis duo was going to be um, something to bring a level of excitement, a level of excitement um, back into the game that we hadn't seen. Fortunately, you know what I mean. Like they had, um, you know what I mean. Fortunately, they had their things with kind of a slower start because of Chris Middleton being hurt, and then the trying to get things figured out, and everything else surrounding that. But nevertheless, this is about the Boston Celtics journey. Um, you boys have done what you've done all season long. Um, you have, you know what I mean. You've done what you've done all season long. You've put the work. You put the off season work in. Um, I mean, y'all had a hell of a regular season. You know what I mean. My guy Duke alum, uh, Jason Tatum had a actually like super duper like had a super significant year, I believe, for that ball club, and I believe he has definitely taken that step um, he's definitely made that stride this season into taking that step as being the star of that Boston Celtics ball club. Um, and you know what I mean? He's shown up. He's shown up in those moments. He's shown up in the moments that he's needed to show up in. Um, so you know what I mean? There's no taking that away. There's no taking that away from him. There's no taking that away from him in those regards. Um, as far as their playoff run, I know a lot of um, I know a lot of uber casual fans will be like, "Oh, the you know what I mean? It was a Mickey ass run. Like, you know what I mean? They don't really deserve to be in the finals." Uh, um, it's not as y'all tend to do. So, like that's whatever. The way that I look at it the way I look at it is, as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned, the best team in the West, the best team in the East is in the finals. Um, I mean, they've shown all season long that they're the best team in the East. Um, as much as I myself am not a fan of Boston Celtics fans as a whole, uh, and that like has nothing to do with being here on the West Coast, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, like you're just saying that because you're in Cali, and like, you know what I mean. Then that y'all automatically just assume that like I'm a Lakers fan and blah 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 and all these other things. It's just like, nah, I just don't. I'm just not a fan of Boston. Boston fans are just annoying to me as a whole. Um, it's a super fun city, but the Boston sports fans are just like not always the most pleasant of people to be around. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, but yeah, outside of that, uh, you know what I mean. I'm also a very objective person, and you know what I mean. Like they were the best team. They've shown improve. They have shown improving all season long that they're one of the best teams in the East. Um, so there's no taking that away from them. Um, and yeah, there's that as far as that is concerned. So salute to the Boston Celtics for making it to this point. Um, Now with the Western Conference, um, honestly, I've said it all year. I've said it all year, and I'll say it again now. And I will, you know what I mean. And I'll at this point quadruple down on what I've been saying all year, um, as far as that is concerned. Um, the West is a little bit different as far as um, you know what I mean. Especially this season, it just shown more reason, and it's given more of a point to the point of like you know what I mean. Like it's called the Wild West for a reason. Um, where literally it could have literally been, and I said it before, and I would say it again. Like it could have literally been anybody's game out west if the right things would have fell in place. Just so happens to be the fact that all the right things came together and fell in place for the Dallas Mavericks. I said it going into the playoffs. I said, like, you know what I mean? This is a team that's heating up at the right time. Kyrie and Luca look really, really good together as a backcourt together. Um, you know what I mean? These are all these things that I said going into the playoffs that I was really, really excited about the possibility of like a really good playoff run from them. Uh, I didn't think a finals. I didn't think a run. I didn't think a trip to the finals. Um, you know what I mean? I thought like you know what I mean. The trip to the finals for them was like maybe a year away. Um, I didn't expect it to be this soon, but like, you know what I mean. With just seeing how they've panned everything to get how they've panned and pieced everything together really really well. Um, in each round of the playoffs up to this point, you know it makes sense. It makes sense. Um, Now I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Well, that's crazy because you had the Nuggets going back to back." For those of you that have been watching um, up to this point, yes, I did. Um, but also, if we do remember, I said um, you probably don't, but there was a couple of different times where I said the Mavericks were a dark horse for me. I do remember saying that at least like once or twice. Um, or alluding to it. I may not have actually like outwardly said the words, but like I did allude to it a couple of different times. And I said multiple different times during Minnesota's run that they scared me. Uh, so yeah. because of the fact that it was that thing of where literally it was like uh, Cat and Rudy as a front court. Uh, from we talked about it literally just a year ago. I said like it's a front court that doesn't really make that much sense. They made it make sense this year with the with the explosion of Anthony Edwards. Um, yeah, with the explosion of Anthony Edwards this year. Um, yeah, it all came together for them guys. Uh, it all came together for them guys in a really big way, um, especially after the All Star break. So yeah, like again, at one point there was literally a stretch where they were the best team in the West, um, followed by the Denver Nuggets. So like, you know what I mean? It's that thing for me where it's just like, um, barring like a super crazy offseason where the Nuggets like do some like stupid foolishness and like just blow the team up just because it didn't work. They could be back in the next. You know what I mean? They could be back in the finals in the next like couple of years. They can make another final appearance soon. Is basically what I'm saying. Um, Also, so good the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves definitely can make are like, you know what I mean. I personally do believe, and I will just come out and say this right now: the Minnesota Timberwolves are maybe one or two really solid pieces away from a finals appearance. From a finals appearance, um, and really that can be done in the off season with the way that the game is shaping up now. I mean, you know what I mean. They played tremendous defense. Um, the entire playoff run. It's just again, you ran into a Dallas Maverick team that's got that's got a savvy superstar at number 77, Luka Doncic, um, along with a super poised backcourt mate in you know what I mean, along with a super poised, still elite level veteran guard in Kyrie Irving. So yeah, it's that thing for me where I'm not surprised with the run that the Dallas Mavericks have had in the playoffs, um, that they are here at this point. You know what I mean? Um, it's the thing. It's just that thing of where for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they have the same thing that I've been saying about teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, where it's just like they're good, they're just young. Um, it's just a classic case of that. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, these boys are good. They're just young. Um, there there's that. So yeah, there's just that. You know what I mean? It's a good squad. They're just, you know what I mean. Both of those squads are good. Just they're still relatively young teams. Um, so it's just that thing of where it's gonna take that thing that um, a lot of y'all, not you guys in the chat, but a lot of y'all, the masses don't give. Um, it's gonna take that thing that the masses don't give people anymore, which is this thing called time. Um, for them to just, like, you know what I mean. It's just gonna take that thing called time for everything to shape out how it's gonna shape out. Um, and again, especially with the superstar pieces that the Minnesota Timberwolves have in place, yeah, they'll be a pretty solid playoff team um, for the years to come. Um, all that being said, I know a lot of people are probably wondering who I have um, winning the NBA Finals. Again, I know looking at the bets in Vegas, of course, Boston's the heavy favorite to win it. That's not usually how I make my decisions, though. Um, not just because they're a Western Conference team, and because I'm not that big of a fan of uh, Boston fans in general. Um, but just because of what we have been bearing witness to with this run, um, yeah, because of what we have been bearing witness to with this run, the Dallas Mavericks have a real good possibility to shock the entire world by taking home the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Uh, make no mistake about it, this is going to be the fight of a lifetime for this Dallas Mavericks ball club. Let me just say that right now. These boys are going to have to fight like hell uh, because this Boston Celtic team that they're going up against is not no hope. These aren't a bunch of random niggas that they just picked up from the YMCA. Yeah, these aren't a bunch of random niggas that they just picked up from the YMCA that was like, bet, basketball team. like, nah, they got Boston has some elite level guys as well. And you know what I mean? And Jason Tatum and you know what I mean? With them having their two headed monster in Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. Um, and say whatever you want and will about a guy like Jalen Brown. I think he really did after um, probably all of the heavy scrutiny of last season's exit for them. Um, you know what I mean? After the heavy scrutiny and criticism that he received after their early last, you know what I mean? Their last season, that they're pretty early by Boston fan standards, exit from the playoffs. Um, I believe Jason Tatum, not Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown as a whole, uh, really, you know what I mean, stepped up and really proved his point of why the why the why the Boston Celtics front office believes in him as the number two guy um, on that, like, you know what I mean, as the number two guy on that franchise. Um, and I've said that before, and I'll say it again. It's not a 1A 1B situation between them. It's really it's really that thing of where, yeah, as far as this Boston Celtics ball club is concerned, Jason Tatum is the guy. Um, he he is supposed to be the leader of this team. Um, he has the mindset and mentality to be so. Um, he just has all of the things in place to be so um, for this Boston Celtic ball club. Uh, yeah, he has the entire mindset to be so for this Boston Celtic ball club, and you know what I mean. And then in the areas that Jason Tatum does lack as a player, that's where Jalen Brown is supposed to pick up. And again, they have excellent role players on that squad as well. Derek White's been having a hell of a playoff run. Um, Drew Holiday has been an excellent acquisition for this for this Boston for this Boston group. Um, and again, as a Pelican fan, I got to watch Drew Holiday be Drew Holiday for a pretty long time for my favorite team. So I know what he's capable of. Um, he's a solid it's a solid locker room guy to have. So all the pieces are in place for Boston. Um, but yeah, I just have Dallas essentially just being too much. Um, Essentially just being too much for this Boston Celtic uh, group. I'm open to being wrong. Um, yeah, I'm super open to being wrong. That will never bother me as far as that's concerned. Uh, but yet and still, let me just say, um, you got Luca, you got Kyrie, you got the pieces that they picked up. Um, you got those pieces that they picked up from the trade deadline, and yeah, you got some guys that kind of in their new role here have stepped things up. I mean, you know what I mean. You got young Derek Lively, who's been really exciting to watch this year. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr. looks like a brand new player this year. So yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of good things. It's a lot of good things. Uh, it's a lot of good things, and the sky is really the limit. The sky is really and truly the limit for this Dallas Maverick crew. And you know what I mean? A W. I think I believe a Larry O'Brien trophy is in their future. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. So the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky played a couple of days ago now, and of course, as we know, there was a foul on Caitlin Clark that upon further review was upgraded from a comment foul to a flagrant one. Um, And for whatever reason, like now it's becoming this whole thing of where now, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, for any other reason other than, like, you know what I mean, like y'all sports media people just being sports media people at this point in time. Um, and specifically, I'm talking about the sports media people who have never played professionally um, in the sport are saying that this is I just have a lot to say about it. It was like saying that like this is crazy because if this was the NBA, it wouldn't be like, you know what I mean. It would be like that and blah 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 blah, and like the rules need to be um, looked at and updated and blase blase this that and the other, right? Um, and of course the whole conversation between Monica and Stephen A is like going viral at this point in time. Um, all I really have to say about it is I watched the highlights from that game. The foul was a foul. Do I think Shorty should have shoved Caitlin Clark? No. Um, but also, as somebody who has played sports competitively before, I understand what it's like being in the heat of battle. Um, and you know, sometimes you lose your cool out there. Am I excusing it or condoning it? No. Um, do I think she should have got? I need to go teach the team to have her back because they need to start swinging. Um, also, hello, Miss Lady J, welcome in. Also, yeah, am I agreeing or condoning it? No. It's that thing for me of where, but it's like it's also that thing for me where it's just like I understand both perspectives of it, right? Um, yeah, I figured as much. But yeah, but also again to your point, Miss Lady J, I'm also there with you on that end as far as the Indiana Fever are concerned. As a team, um, not just because she's Caitlin Clark and because she's y'all, she's poised to be the star player and like you know what I mean, the franchise player and all of the things. Um, just from a team aspect, like yeah, y'all should have had Shorty's back. Um, which kind of leads to more other stuff it being in question for me as far as the Indiana Fever are concerned. Like as far as this, like they're just more like locker room stuff is now more so in question for me. Um, following this situation happening, like you know what I mean, as far as the Indiana Fever are concerned. Um, but yeah, as far as like, and it's the other thing too, where like media personalities have to understand this because they have been grilling the young lady from the Chicago Sky that shoved Caitlyn because of the fact that she didn't want to talk about it in the post game interviews. Okay, to all of you media people out there, let me tell you how this thing called life works. If you ask me something and I myself don't want to talk about whatever it is that you just asked me, I have the right to not talk about it. So now tell me where, in that point, that makes her a disrespectful person because she didn't want to talk about the situation. Probably because of the fact, and this is just You know what I mean? Me just being an outside person looking in and just like, you know what I mean? And like trying to see the situation from this young lady's perspective, she was probably still pissed. So if I'm still mad about said situation and you ask me about said situation that I'm still mad about, and if I don't want to talk about it because for, oh, I don't know, in whatever reason, I don't want to say something that's like out of line or unprofessional, like how does that make me a bad person? How am I in the wrong? Sports media people, what did I do wrong? No, but you shoved the hell out of that girl. Yeah, and did. So, and now you don't want to talk about it? That's rude. How? Based on what? I didn't realize it was the law that I had to speak on situations that I didn't want to speak on. Small aside, y'all do realize that media people, y'all do realize like that's the same thing. This is like the same thing in the same like kind of like reasoning. Yeah, this is related. So yeah, small aside is right. But y'all media people do realize this is the same like kind of reasoning of why Chris Brown lost his shit at the like, you know what I mean, when he did that Good Morning America interview, when him and his team going into that interview on Good Morning America said, "Hey, so you guys are good on all of these other questions except for this Rihanna situation. He doesn't want to talk about it. So it would behoove you to not bring it up." Now, we know how the news works. um them niggas are like, "Yeah, nah, we're going to do our own thing cuz we need the clicks. We need the clicks, we need the views, we need people to tune in. We're going to ask it anyway." So then when Mr. Christopher Maurice Brown, then it's like essentially to the point of where it's just like it's crazy that we're talking about this, and I have a whole album out. So I would rather us talk about this album that I have out, other than that situation. And you then continually being like, "Yeah, no, I understand, but the situation, why did you do it? What happened? What were you think?" Okay, bet. Now you're not listening to me. Now, me personally speaking, would I have responded in the same exact manner? Um, a couple of years ago, probably. A couple of years ago, probably. I'm not even gonna hold you. And now, it would have been that thing of where I would have been like, I would have expressed you know what I mean. I would have expressed my disapproval. Now, me being a little bit older and a little bit more mature, I would have expressed my disapproval with the producers of said news outlet or network. Um, and then I would have had another aside with my team and been like, okay, so we're not crazy, right? Like we did tell them that we didn't want to talk about that, and if everybody's like, yeah, no, we did. Okay, bet. Just wanted to make sure I'm not hallucinating because I could have sworn we were very adamant about not wanting to talk about said situation. Uh, So again, to Sweet Bee from the Chicago Sky that did that didn't want to talk about the Caitlin Clark situation after it happened. I'm on your side. Um, I'm on your side. Uh, and you're not wrong. If you didn't want to talk about that situation, you should not, regardless of what the media is going to say about it. You should not feel compelled to speak on said situation. Uh, Again, as far as the Indiana Fever are concerned, it's I'm looking at y'all locker room a little different. Um, because at the end of the day, right or wrong, that's your teammate, that's your sister in arms. Um, you know what I mean? Like y'all should have done a little bit more uh, to stick up for her in that situation, because yeah, because that little old gal could have got herself hurt. Um, Again, now since we're on the subject of Caitlin Clark, let's go into something that I seen. Let's go into this clip that one of my friends sent me from Jeff Teague's podcast. This man said, and if y'all don't know who Jeff Teague is, um, that's fine. He he was a professional. He was an NBA professional. Um, he's an NBA journeyman. He played on many a team. Um, I forget what college he went to. But he was I believe it was Wake Forest. Um, I was a pretty big fan of him in college. Um, he had a pro career, uh, and now he's an NBA media person. Now he's a media podcast personality, um, and things of that nature. I don't know how they got on to the subject of Caitlin Clark or whatever, but in so many words, this man Jeff Teague said that the ladies of the WNBA are going about this Caitlin Clark situation the wrong way. One of his friends and fellow co-hosts was like, "How so? What do you mean by that?" He said they need to do this like the WNBA needs to do this like the WWE and let Caitlin Clark go out there and cook everyone so that it would boost the ratings and the hype for the WNBA. And then once it's to a high enough point, then you can actually go back to playing actual basketball. Okay. Let me just say this so you can hear me and hear me well, Mr. Teague. Um, I don't know. I don't know what rock you slipped and hit your head on, or I don't know what kind of crack you have been smoking. Um, but let me just start this off by saying that was the most tone deaf comment I could have ever seen. Um, from somebody who was a professional. You know what I mean? Um, you know what I mean? That's just the most tone deaf comment from a former professional that I've ever seen in my entire life. Uh, because of the fact of essentially what you're saying is that you don't see these women as um, your athletic equal. Um, oh, and trust me, Chad. He's been getting killed on the internet for this comment ever since, as he should. Um, but yeah, that was the most tone deaf comment I've ever seen in my entire life. Um, that comment was an actual like extremely excellent highlight of not toxic masculinity, but hypersexism at its finest. Um, and I'm not sitting here coming out calling Jeff Teague a sexist, but that was a pretty sexist comment to make. Um, so do with that what you will. Um, yeah, and again, I know it's going to be a whole lot of tone deaf Twitter idiots that's going to see this and be like, oh well, and be like, well, no, it's not fair because you're not understanding. And it's really crazy that you're saying something coming from somebody who also has never played sports professionally either. Okay, sure, bet you got it, buddy. Um, uh, it's like, cool, sure, you got it, buddy. Let me know when the last time you seen sunlight is, because at that point, you know what I mean. Like you're just making comments, um, like a goofy, like, you know what I mean. You're just making goofy ass comments, and you're a dweeb. So saying all that to say, yeah, saying all that to say, uh, that really does let me know that Jeff Teague, since retiring from the game of basketball, hasn't really been tuning in to what's been going on in the W like that for real. Um, or honestly, like, yeah, it just really lets me know that Jeff Teague like has literally is literally just in his own little world bubble and ecosystem, um, and just like really isn't aware of like what's going on. Um, because for the past couple of years, not just the WNBA but women's college basketball is becoming a more watched thing. Um, and as far as like him saying like, oh, this would help like this would really help the game. First of all, since Caitlin Clark has been drafted, the WNBA game, but you know what I mean. The Indiana Fever alone have had more games on ESPN ever in the history of everdom. That's just because she got drafted, you dingus. So yeah, the outcome is still the same. Listen, you're right, but that point aside from now, that point aside for now, yeah, that point aside for now. Mr. Jeff Teague, my good man. Uh, yeah, my guy. I'm not sure how tuned in you are with everything that's been going on in the W the past couple of years, or not. I'm not sure. Based on your comments, I know that you have not been super tapped in with what's been going on in the world of women's basketball uh, for quite some time. Uh, you know what I mean? But especially in the past 3 years alone, um, the uptick in talent, uh, the uptick in talent that is coming down the pipeline in the next in the next coming seasons. Uh, he said you didn't know he said that. Well, first of all, for starters, and this is going to come off how it's going to come off, but I really don't care. First of all, for starters, I'm not going to sit here and act like my platform is like this big worldwide multi syndicated platform type of thing. But his platform isn't like one of those ones that like people are really like tapping in and looking for. Um, that's the best way I could say that. Now, again, for all you keyboard crusaders come and being like, it's funny how he said that and nobody's really looking for his platform either. What an insensitive break. Blah 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 blah. Save your fingers. Um, save your fingers because you're probably going to need it for something. Okay. Anyway, um, I'm just saying that is a very very big reason of why it could have been missed. Um, because first of all, if we want to just talk about Jeff Teague as a pro, um, this man was on multiple different teams. Not because he wasn't good, mind you, but because he was a very movable asset on a good majority of the teams that he wound up on, which is why he wound up playing for so many dadgum teams. Two, um, Jeff Teague wasn't one of those guys that a franchise was going to wasn't one of those pieces that a franchise was going to build around. Saying that to say, I find it really, really awkward, odd, and funny that he's making comments about a young lady that, for whatever reason, the Indiana Fever are deciding to say that this is one of the young ladies that we're going to build uh, our franchise around. Um, Again, I get it. She's this whole thing. I'm not saying that Caitlin Clark isn't good. I'm just saying with the um, with the super hype treatment with the super hype man treatment that she was getting in college, but she was getting from college basketball media. now it's to the point of where she is now in the pros on a damn near nightly basis, going up, going toe to toe. Uh, what now? Grown women. The situation is gonna look different. The situation is gonna look different. Quick aside. Asia Wilson is becoming one of the faces of the WNBA, not just because of the fact that she is a very very beautiful woman, but because the girl can also play some goddamn basketball. So you know what I mean. So with that being said, Mr. Jeff Teague, I just think you're like I just think your comment was kind of just super tasteless. Um, and with his comment chat, it's really that thing from like this is like just really the thought process in a nutshell with his comment for me. Tell me you haven't watched the WNBA basketball in the past 3 years without telling me you haven't watched the NBA basketball or WNBA basketball in the past 3 years. That's just really all that comment comes down to. Um, because first of all, it's disrespectful that you even compared it to. They needed to like they needed to stage it and like script it like the WWE. Like this isn't like these aren't like these aren't actual women that some of these women would actually cook you, sir. You know, 1v1, like some of these women are actually cooking you. I'm bold enough to say that. So there's that. So yeah, there is that. Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss Lady J, for putting that in the sports section of the cozy clubhouse Discord. This is why you are the most valuable mod and our sports correspondent. Yeah, so that's all I have on Jeff T. Matter of fact, we could just talk about that right now. Breaking news, vis-a-vis, I don't know how many minutes ago, um, but for me, vis-a-vis a minute ago, the Los Angeles Lakers have decided to hire Rajon Rondo as their new head coach to be a successor from the Darvin Ham era. Um, hmm, initial thoughts. Um, I knew Rajon Rondo was going to wind up becoming a well. LeBron's a free agent, so it doesn't like don't. LeBron's a free agent, so it doesn't matter what he thinks. It really doesn't matter what he thinks at this point. LeBron has decided to enter free agency, so I don't think you know what I mean. So he said he didn't want to go anywhere though. That is true. He did say that. Um, oh, that's right. He's still trying to get the Lakers to finam their way into drafting Bronny so that he can stay. Yuck. Yuck. I'm sorry. Um, Again, initial. I mean, you know what I mean. Initial kind of just raw thoughts. Um, to our most valuable mod, Miss Lady J's point. Yes, LeBron's not going to be excited about that. Um, Especially considering the fact that he has also played with and against Rajon Rondo. Um, so that dynamic might be a little bit weird. If if slash somehow when he comes back to the Lake Show, um, I do think that dynamic will be a little bit weird there. Um, it's that thing for me of where I do um not I do I am happy that Rajon Rondo like you know what I mean has stepped into this next chapter being a head coach. However, comma, I do think it's very dangerous that him retiring from playing the game of basketball and then this being his first gig. Um, like, you know what I mean. This being his first gig as a this being his first gig does make me nervous, um, especially since it's a head coaching gig. It's not. He's not an assistant on somebody's staff. Um, which personally, if it was me, I would have rather gone that route and maybe have you know what I mean learned under one of these other coaches like a big Spo or a Greg Popovich or like shoot maybe even gone down to Indy and maybe learn under somebody like a Rick Carlisle. Um, I don't know. Just for me, I would have like rather just wanted to work my way to that point. Um, it's just because like you know what I mean, like running the show as the running the show as the coach on the floor as opposed to being the actual coach. It's just this is a different situation. Um, Not saying that I don't think Rajon Rondo is going to be a hell of a coach because I do think so. It's just eh. Um, I am a little bit nervous because it is LA. Um, and not just. If it would have been the Clippers, I think I would have been a little bit more excited. But because of the fact that it's the Lake Show, and well, for those of us that do watch sports, we know, um, we are aware of the history of we are aware of the history of the Los Angeles Lakers. Um, and again, you're in Los Angeles, so you're going to literally everything you do is going to be um, under the brightest of lights and under the most hyper focused of microscopes. Um, so there's that. There is that. Um, there is that. So yeah, I'm just a little bit nervous as far as that being concerned. What I am gonna say is, first of all, make no mistake about it. Congratulations, first of all, to Rajon Rondo for you know what I mean. Congratulations, and I promise you, best of luck in this next chapter of your career. Um, like I said before, I think you are going to be a hell of a coach in the league. Um, and yeah, I think for the younger guys on the Laker roster, I know that's not that many, but for the younger guys on the Laker roster, especially like a young guy like Austin Reeves, I think that's going to be good to have a coach like that around. Um, and I think that's just going to be great for the very small bit of the young core that is on that Laker roster. I think that's going to be really really good. Uh, to have a guy like Big Doe around. Um, he does know what it takes to get it done as far as winning a championship. Um, I know for sure he was on that Boston Celtics team. If I am not mistaken, he was on the Lakers for that bubble run. No, um, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he was a part of that run in the bubble, um, or maybe he got there the year after. I don't remember exactly the timeline. Uh, 2020 was a weird time for all of us. So you know, so there's that. Um, but yeah, man, congratulations to Rajon Rondo uh, for getting you a job so early into retirement. Um, Again, I'm always of the thought process of for like really good point guards like that, I do believe wind up translating to being really good coaches. Um, and I know a lot of y'all in the comments gonna be like, "Oh, well, what happened to Steve Nash?" That was different. That was different, and that wasn't fair to that man. Um, First of all, I believe that was his first gig, and like you gave him a stupid loaded, like you know what I mean, like you gave him three superstars um, to deal with, and not just any three random superstars. You gave him two of the most difficult superstars to deal with. One of them being James Harden. So yeah, that situation just wasn't fair. Steve Nash got hoed. That's that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not fair. Um, that's not fair in his defense. Um, and again, I know y'all gonna be like, oh well, okay, Derek Fisher. I believe Derek Fisher could have worked if one, he didn't try to run the triangle offense with Carmelo Anthony. Um, like, let's not forget that. Like, he's trying to run an offense that requires you to be unselfish with and I love first of all, I'm a huge Carmelo fan, so like, you know what I mean? Carmelo's one of my guys, but we gotta call a spade a spade. He's more of like that selfish level type of scorer. Um, and he's not a and yeah, I like the Carmelo candy bars. Okay. All right. Okay. Um saying all that to say Carmelo Anthony's not a swing, like, you know what I mean? Like, the triangle offense requires a lot of swinging and like swinging the ball and like a lot of okay, I'm about to get super nerdy. So the triangle offense requires a lot of ball and player movement, and that's not the type of personnel that Derek Fisher had. Um, so that's why Derek Fisher didn't work. Um, also, he was trying to run the triangle offense in like the 2010s. That's not realistic anymore. That's definitely like a super early 2000s kind of like style of offense. It doesn't work now. It doesn't work for like it didn't work like it didn't. It's not gonna work in like this kind of like modern era of it's not gonna work with like the style of players that are coming into the league now. Um, and have been coming into the league since like the 2010s. So that's why it didn't work. He was running the wrong kind of system, and he had the wrong kind of personnel. Um, so before y'all come out and be like, "Oh, it's crazy how he said that," and yet, like, yeah, because in both of those situations, like both of those coaches were just in situations that, especially for Steve Nash, like for Steve Nash, that's super unfair. Um, because that was his first gig, and in my first gig, you're gonna give me Kyrie Irving, you're gonna give me Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant as my three-star players. Three of the allegedly, I don't know, but according to uh, folks that have shared locker rooms with these individuals, three of the are arguably most difficult people to deal with. Again, according to people who have shared locker rooms with these individuals. Um, so, okay, you couple that with the fact that because of that, they had such high expectations for that team. Yeah, Steve Nash got hoed. Derek Fisher, his situation, his situation was just kind of weird, um, because that's when Phil Jackson was like, you know what I mean, like It's when Phil Jackson was like the president of like basketball operations or something with the Knicks, and so yeah, I get it. Like you know what I mean. Like he wanted to bring in one of his guys, um, but that's just not the kind of team that they had there at the time. That's just not the kind of like it's just not the kind of like style of team that they had there at the time. So yeah, no, it wouldn't have worked. So like yeah, that's why that didn't work. Um, but that still doesn't mean that I don't think Derek Fisher would make a hell of a coach um, in the league. Um, it's just more so that thing for me where I think with a coach like Derek Fisher, if he would have been like on a younger team running a different kind of like style of offense, I think we would there'd be a different kind of conversation surrounding his name. Um, but yeah, I mean, um, I mean, you know what I mean. Speaking of great point guards turning out to be great coaches, y'all don't want to talk about it, but going back to the Dallas Mavericks, guess who's their head coach? Mm-hmm. Forgot that, didn't you? So yeah, shout out to J Kidd, man. Um, Glad he was able to come back and make something of his little situation that he was in. Like, you know what I mean? I'm glad he was able to kind of come back and make a great situation for himself there in Dallas. Um, he's got a good little ball club there in Dallas too. So yeah. Anyway, moving onward, MLB early season standings. Like, let's just talk about it. The and first of all, like in the NL and the AL, the NL East and AL East, the the clubs that were kind of slated to be the favorites going into it are kind of early on proving why. Um, First of all, let me just say, y'all can say whatever you want about specifically the New York Yankees. Um, I know y'all. I know that the biggest thing is going to be like, oh, they buy their team every year. Um, which, yeah, a lot of that being true, but they also still do manage to farm some really good talent um, through their through their like, you know what I mean, through their system. So you know what I mean, you know what I mean, through their single A, double A, and triple A groups, right? If you will. Um, But yeah, man. But yeah, man. So like, you know what I mean? Like them, the Phillies look really, really good. Um, Kind of, showing early why they're that girl. Why they're that girl. Shout out to my, you know what I mean. Shout out to my Philly folks. Y'all know I love y'all. Um, yeah, y'all know it's always love. Um, Shout out to my New York folks too. And y'all know what it is. We love y'all. We love y'all out here. Um, the NL and AL Central kind of has a couple of surprise teams. Um, Let me just say respectfully for me, I thought I'm just gonna come out and say it, I kind of had a little bit more hopes for the Pittsburgh Pirates coming into this year. Again, I know it's still early. Um, I know it's still very much early in the season for for them, and there's a possibility to turn some stuff around. But I don't know. Just right now, I had a little bit more hopes for a better start coming from that group. But like a lot of folks always say, this is why you play the games. Um, because yeah. So yeah, there's that with that. As far as yeah, yeah. So there's that. You know what I mean? As far as on the West for both the NL and the AL, um, I am more impressed with the. I know they're not at the top right now. I'm more so impressed with the San Diego Padres early. I think that's a good, yeah, that's a good group of that's a good crop of guys that they have right now. Um, and again, only time will tell if they can maintain this momentum. But as of right now, they've kind of come out like a man, like some guys on a mission. Um, and I like that. I like that out of them. Uh, Giants fans, you know what I mean. Again, for this is gonna sound like so much shade, but for whatever reason, y'all were again you know what I mean. Y'all again were like a heavy favorite. Um, I mean, like you know what I mean. It's still early. Y'all are sitting at third. I don't know. Maybe y'all figure it out. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know what y'all got going over there. If I could be honest, like you know what I mean. Y'all pitching crew isn't something to write home about. Which in all of the years that you guys won it, like that was something that was a big thing for y'all. And I'm just saying, it's kind of not a surprise that now since you're struggling in that area, you're now struggling overall. To me, it's not a coincidence, but that's just my thoughts. That's just my thoughts on that. Um, that's just my thoughts on you know what I mean. That's just my thoughts on early. That's just my thoughts on early season baseball as a whole. I'm trying to see if I forgot anything. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on early season baseball as a whole. Okay, mini camps have started for the NFL, which means training camps are starting, which means training camps will be quickly approaching, which means preseason will be around the corner before we know it. Um, we the last time we did this, we had a conversation with our favorite squads. Um, Overall, as a whole, let me just say what I let me just talk to y'all about some of the stuff that I've been seeing from a couple of these mini camps. First of all, uh, Let's just start with yeah, I believe the number one. Yeah, the number one overall draft pick. Uh, from the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams. I believe early, early or late last week, maybe mid last week. Um, it was announced that Caleb Williams will be quarterback number one going into the pre and early regular season for the Chicago Bears. Um, to all of you individuals on NFL Twitter that like made a big deal about that, let me just tell y'all something. Uh, the Chicago Bears spent that money to ensure that he was going to be the number one pick. He was going to get a chance to show what he can do as a pro, regardless. Why? Quite simple. I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, "Oh, but that's gonna fuck up Justin Fields' improvement and blah 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 and all these other things." You know, it's tough. I want to tell you, it sucks. Um, but quite literally, and really the only reason of why it was a very obvious reason of that, well, why that was going to be a thing for me. Caleb Williams can throw the ball. Caleb Williams can throw the ball. So I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't. I don't really know what else to say about that. But it's just like, you know what I mean. Caleb Williams just has the better arm talent. Uh, as far as Justin Fields is concerned, like I don't know. I don't know what you can do, buddy. Um, Changing positions may not be in the cards for you, but it might have to be an option. I don't know what other position you would play. Um, or unless somehow they figure out how to factor Justin Fields in as like a specialty quarterback, like I don't know. I don't know. That's up to the Chicago Bears to figure that out. Um, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not surprised that Caleb Williams um, entering into mini camp it was named quarterback number one. So there's that as far as that's concerned. Um, to all of you Cardinals fans that are like spamming my Twitter DMs with like all of this stuff about Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, insert that Michael Jordan meme if you want. Stop. Get some help. What does that matter with what does that matter if Kyler Murray is the guy throwing him the ball? No diss to Kyler Murray. Shout out to Kyler Murray. Y'all know I love my short quarterbacks, but you know when your job description is NFL quarterback, and you are more concerned as the person who's supposed to be the leader of the team, you are more concerned with when's the next time you're gonna be able to jump on some Call of Duty, or the next time you're gonna be able to hop in the next Fortnite lobby. Um, that worries me. That worries me. There was a couple of other decent quarterbacks in that draft, so I think that you could have. There's a couple of other decent quarterbacks left in that draft that I think the Arizona Cardinals probably should have spent a couple of later picks on, but um, it's whatever. That's not my call. Y'all will figure it out, I guess, or not. Um, but yeah, all I'm gonna say with that is, like, you know what I mean. Are sending me clips of Marvin Harrison Jr. like doing all of these things in mini camps. Like, okay, first of all, they don't have pads on. Second of all, it's not on Sunday, so I do not care. Uh, that's the biggest thing for me. It's like this. It's like, you know what I mean. It's like, okay, cool, um, cool. He's doing his thing in minicamp, mind you. It's not even the regular season yet. But let's see how. Let's see if he can still keep that same energy when he's gonna have to line up against some elite level corners on Sundays. And to all of you Swifties that for whatever reason were upset because your glorious queen, yuck, because yeah, because your Caucasian overlord at um wasn't at the Kansas City Chiefs White House appearance. Let me just say this so that you can hear me and hear me well. I know y'all don't understand. I know a lot of y'all are new to the sport of football. Um, but let me just let y'all know how this works. Um, just because every Kansas City Chiefs game that was played, they 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 showed that little printer paper complected girl every 272 seconds they possibly could. Um, she did not play a down for the Kansas City Chiefs. So kindly please explain to me where in your brain you think it would make sense that the Kansas City Chiefs would be like, oh yeah, the team is going to the White House to meet with the president. You should come. Printer paper complected. Or mayonnaise complected, whichever one fits for the day. Um, but yeah, y'all's Caucasian overlord, she didn't do anything except be at Kansas City Chiefs games, which led you random goofies to start watching NFL football for the first time in your life because of who her boyfriend is, because of the fact that her boyfriend plays professional football. She literally didn't do anything but show up to her boyfriend's job. So, you know, and I'm not sorry for what I said. Get over it. She didn't show up to the White House. She didn't show up to the White House appearance because she didn't do anything. She didn't catch not nan catch. Well, she caught somebody's balls, but she didn't catch not nan football. Um, she didn't catch not nary a football. Uh, she didn't make not nary a tackle. She didn't score not nary a touchdown. You don't have any words? Don't even worry about it. She yep, I said what I said. Uh, so you know, she she doesn't play for the Chiefs. Is basically what I'm saying. She doesn't play for the Chiefs, so she didn't. She wasn't invited to go to the. And it's that thing where again, Swifties, because again, I know y'all are new. Nobody's families, nobody's spouses or families are invited to go to those White House appearances. Nobody's families are invited. Players, coaching staff. Players, coaching, training staff. That's all who's invited. And again, I know because y'all think that y'all's Caucasian overlord is just so great and she just deserves all of the special treatments in the world. No. Those are the rules, have been the rules since forever. Again, I know that y'all are new here, but that's how it's been forever. So get the hell over it. That's all I have to say. She doesn't get no special treatment because you know what I mean? That'd be like my most valuable mod, Miss Lady J, trying to walk into some random recording studio in Indiana somewhere and being like oh it's okay like you know what I mean, like I'm dating an artist so I have the right to be like they'd be like ma'am if you don't get me entire hell out of here. Granted that probably wouldn't go well but I'm just saying like but I've got bars ma'am please. Ma'am please the door. The same, just the same exact thing. That's all I've had to say. But just because of the fact that I've seen that was like becoming like a huge issue amongst you Swifties, that again, your glorious overlord didn't get to go to the DC meeting, to the DC appearance for the Super Bowl champions. Hey man, she doesn't play for the Chiefs. She plays with a chief, but she doesn't play for the Chiefs. Okay, moving on, because I'm gonna just start making a bunch of jokes, and you guys are gonna get pissed off. Not that I care, but like, you know, I'm just about to start getting super immature about the matter. So moving onward, time for the cozy convo corners. Time for the cozy convo corner. Where again, trigger warning. if with some of the stuff that I talk about, if it some of the stuff that I talk about in this segment, you find it controversial, um, too politically driven, um, all of those things in between. Like if any of the stuff that I talk about in this segment specifically, um, in this specific segment of the pod makes you uncomfortable, um, maybe definite, and you could just watch my mouth move and play some music in the background my hands and while my hands do stuff. Pause. And yeah, you can either fast forward or and pause the audio or do whatever the thing is that you do. Skip ahead because I'm gonna speak my piece on these things regardless. Now, moving on. That being said, uh, so Kaylon, West Coast artist, West Coast R&B artist, um, one of our Bay Area babies here in California. Kaylani went viral last weekend on Twitter for essentially snapping on all of her industry peers, um, regarding the Palestine, um, just regarding all of those situations with these countries that are going through these things. Um, Essentially, all I can say is she basically, respectfully and understandably, was just really upset with the demeanor of a lot of her peers towards that situation, of kind of the attitude of in her exact words of basically kind of like having the attitude of like, damn, that's fucked up, and like the damn that's fucked up and the kind of keeping it pushing mentality, um, towards this situation, which is a very very serious situation. Um, in case by my tone and my demeanor of it is unclear. Um, it's a very very serious situation that you should never just be like, oh well, that happened, and I'm gonna care about it for a week. Now, on to this other thing that I was gonna do. Now that that week is over, back to whatever else I was gonna do. Nah, because like you know what I mean. Unfortunately for the people, um, in these many places like Palestine, and all of these other countries that are dealing with these very serious situations, they don't get the opportunity to just be like, "Damn, this is crazy," and kind of like move on. These are like folks are actively fighting for their lives, um, on a day to day basis. Um, And let me just say, I salute, and not only salute, I salute and stand with the stance that Kaylani has, of where it's just like this is kind of just one of those things of where you can't just shrug it off and think it's just gonna go away. Um, because the fact of the matter is this: just because um, you Twitter niggas stopped talking about it after a week, because the news has stopped covering it as much, um, does not mean the situation has gotten better. Uh, is all that I am going to say about that. Not is all. That's the best way that I can say. Um, that's the most respectable way I can speak on that situation. Uh, and again, to all of you internet activists out there, I'm gonna say this as well, um, because I'm not just saying this to you. I'm saying this to myself as well. It's gonna take a little bit more than just putting free Palestine in your like, you know what I mean, in your bio, or having that be one of your hashtags um, on a couple of posts. Um, Even if it's in a very small way, figure out how you can help. Um, because I understand being here in America, the biggest kind of attitude and demeanor that we have towards situations like this is the kind of the kind of like overarching. I'm not saying everybody thinks like this, but the overarching mentality um, that seems to very much be running rampant in America is the not in my backyard mentality. What that means is essentially, because of the fact that it's not happening in our neck of the woods, our backyard being America, um, it, it 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 then does not become our problem. Um, but I'm here to tell you that due to the fact that we all are human beings, sharing this thing called planet Earth, it is our problem. Um, because your fellow human beings are being assassinated and slaughtered for what it is that they believe in. Lives are being taken for just simply for something that they believe in. Now, let's take the fact that it's Palestine and all of these and, and Congo and all of these other countries out of it. What if that was your sister, your cousin, your nephew that was having their life cut short because of their beliefs? Hit different now, don't it? Just something to think about. Um, it's just a little food for thought is all. Um, Again, I said these first kind of topics are going to be a little bit darker and heavier. Uh, we'll lighten it up, but you know what I mean. It's it needs to be spoken on. Um, anyway, I don't know if you guys are aware of the very much long and drawn on um, case regarding um, the orange face man, uh, Donald Trump. For those of you guys that um, aren't familiar, uh, for your supporters, this is y'all's glorious king. Um, he was found guilty on all 30 plus counts um, that he was being charged with, and I'm not like a I wouldn't consider myself like a uber political person, uh, because the thing for me where it comes down to really just the thing for me with somebody like this, it's just I'm not a fan of. There is no nice way to say it, so I'm gonna just come out and say it how it is. I'm not a fan of shitty people. Um, yeah, I'm not a fan of shitty people, and this man is literally the definition and personification of what a shitty person is and looks like. Um, this man conducts himself with the highest level of narcissism. Um, and this man is literally what it has. Man is just literally the walking, living, breathing embodiment of what it looks like to feel slash be quote unquote untouchable for as long as he's been untouchable. And to all of and to all of the individuals that are not that tapped into what's been going on as far as this situation is concerned, um, which I don't know how not, you know what I mean, but you know what I mean. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. Uh, to all of the individuals that might not be fans of this man, but are for whatever reason, excuse me, surprised at the fact that, regardless of the fact that he's been found guilty of all of these things, um, and is to you somehow still leading in the polls. Let me just tell you this, and this is the nicest way I can put that. Um, there's a couple of different types of people in this world. Um, and as far as individuals like this, he brings out two different kind of individuals. Um, the ignorant folk and the racist folk. The ignorant the ignorant the ignorant racist. Um, which you know what I mean, like that like those kind of people go without explaining. Um, and people who just meat munch and meat ride till like, you know what I mean, till their heart is content. Yeah, till their heart is content. It's both of these types of individuals. Some of that is kind of interwoven and intertwined um, with concerning this man. Um, but saying that to say that for these professional for these professional meat gobblers, it doesn't matter how much stuff comes out against this man, how many different things, how many different heinous acts this man is caught doing, um, has reportedly done. Um, this is just platinum level. This is just platinum level meat writing at its finest. It's the best way that I can put that. Um, Platinum level meat writing, ultimate level of dick suck. Uh, that's just what that all comes down to. So again, you know what I mean. Galactic levels of glazing, if you will. Um, Gargantuan levels of glizzy gobbling, if you would. Um, like I'm being goofy about it with like all this like goofy alliteration, but like just seriously, like in a nutshell, it's just like how is he still leading in the polls? Dick writing, plain and simple. Dick writing. You want to know how dick writing is the answer? That like just one, just what it comes down to. With that, um, it's that thing because I don't usually do this um, on my platforms, not because of the fact that I don't think that it's important, but because of the fact that I think these are conversations that I usually like save for like to have with my community um, in the comforts of our clubhouse. Um, but it's also that thing of where like you guys on the internet also need to like hear this and understand this. If it has never been important, if it has never seemed or became as important to you, like if such a thing as voting has never become or seemed or been deemed any level of important to you at this point, you know what I mean? Uh, let what has gone on in the past couple of years um, be clear indications of why it's so important. Um, or if not that, let what is currently going on with this situation be the clearest of indicators and reasons of why you should get out and vote. Um, because your vote matters and it is important. So yeah, do that. Do that. Um, yeah. Um, Now, again, I know for a myriad of reasons it might feel like, or because of the fact that you have been told by somebody who you might have been told by your fake woke friend that you voting really doesn't matter and it's not that important. Let me just tell you that it is. Um, it is, and your vote does make a difference. Um, it's very, very much important, and it's not just on a national level. It's also uh, locally as well. Um, make sure that you have the make sure that you are electing to have the right people that are going to be for you in your local city hall. Um, make sure that you know what I mean. Yeah, just make sure that you're involved. Is all I can say on that part. Again, this isn't a super political channel, so we're not going to get like into it like that. We predominantly talk about and discuss things about music here, but as far as this entire situation is concerned, um, just gonna come out and say this right now. If it has not been, if voting has never been a thing that like been super important to you or deemed or like crossed your thought as important to you, let this entire situation with this man that's been going on over the past couple of years, like really like help you zero in and come to realize, oh, maybe I should. I ain't never really voted before, but maybe I should start. Yeah, what you think? Just maybe just make you know. I ain't gonna. I'm not gonna dunk on y'all too hard, but yeah, a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say. As far as that's concerned, um, gear switching is Yene Aiko. Aiko, I'm sorry. Um, Again, another one of our California cuties. Um, so for those of that, so for the that words. So for those that are not familiar, um, Kim Kardashian has a bra and underwear line called Skims. Um, and I don't know if it's a rollout for something or whatever, but Janae Aiko was caught serving looks in some Skims for, I'm gonna just say, for some kind of photo shoot for something. I don't know. I don't really know the details of that for real. Um, but it's becoming that thing of where it's it's becoming that thing of where Kim Kardashian has retweeted this and talking about Janae for Skims, like she wants her to do a campaign with for her line. I'm guessing. I mean, well, based on the retweet, that's the context that I've gathered together. Um, Reason why this is so important is um, because the biggest conversation that I've noticed with this whole thing is that, and you know what I mean. I know for a lot of people they're gonna be like, it's crazy that he's sitting here doing this, and this ain't even his girl for real. Um, you're right, it's not, but it's also that thing of where it's just like, hey, nigga, pay attention. How about that? Um, um, Basically, a lot of this conversation is just that, like a lot of the, specifically more so, it's a lot of the girly pops on a lot of the internet girly pops that I'm seeing that are just like so surprised that um are basically coming out and just being like, oh my gosh, I it's either the I had no idea, or it's just that some of y'all, and at least y'all have been honest about it, have been some of y'all have been kind of honest and coming out being like, sometimes it's just crazy how I forget that how much of a beautiful young lady Janae is. And it's just like, the thing I'm gonna say to that is, this just speaks to a multitude of things. Um, it speaks to a multitude of things, and it raises a different kind of conversation of where it's just like, because of the fact that not a lot of us, um, in this music and entertainment space, because of the fact that a lot of us may not post um, every single second of every day. Um, it does not mean that though that we are the individuals that are not uh, beautiful. That doesn't mean we aren't talented. Uh, doesn't mean that we aren't smart. All of the things, right? Um, Reason why I'm saying all of that to say where it's just like, if you have eyes that work, it that like Janae Aiko being like, respectfully with love, Janae being a beautiful young lady has never been in question. Um, should have never been in question. Um, but I'm also surprised because of the fact of, with the kind of life that she lives, and how like she tends to like be a lot more private. Um, of why these conversations kind of come up every now and again, um, regarding her. Uh, I mean, same thing happens with somebody like Ariana, right? Because of the fact that she's, you know what I mean, busy raising a family, um, and running a $1 billion business. Um, when she does pop out for stuff, some of y'all kind of forget that like she's cute for real. Um, which I I don't know how you could have ever I don't know how you could have ever forgotten that. But for whatever reason, if you did, you know what I mean. For whatever reason, if you did or you do, um, maybe just from time to time, give yourself a refresher. Um, I'm not saying stalk these folks, but you know what I mean. Maybe every now and again, just give yourself a refresher and scroll on their Instagram. Again, don't insta stalk them because that's weird. Um, you know what I mean? Because that's weird, and I am still very much an advocate for, like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. A hobby, get some, several of them if you need to. Um, but yeah, it's just that thing of where it's just like, especially with like those kind of individuals that aren't gonna be in your face. Um, every second, every hour, every minute of every day. Uh, yeah, no, maybe that will help with things. Um, or maybe not. I don't know. The reason why that's so important and why I really bring that up for real is because that's the same kind of stuff that like goes on uh, with me. Uh, yeah, with me. Um, again, because of the fact that I don't really like go hardcore with the posting um, every day of the week. Uh, it'd be that thing of where like when the projects drop and stuff, and then people be like don't take this the wrong way, but like I be forgetting how like talented you actually really are. And this is not me bragging, y'all. Like these are actual conversations that I've had with actual people. So yeah, saying that to say like these are actual conversations where people actually be like, I don't take it the wrong way. Like I don't mean no disrespect by it or nothing, but it's just like I really be forgetting how talented you actually are. Um, because you don't be on the internet like that. To which I then respond, yeah, because I'm not trying to rot my damn brain out. Yes, I make content and I am a content creator, but like there are those times where, case in point, last week, I just didn't. I very much wanted to stream, but I was not in the mood. You know what I mean? I was not in the mood to, and I'm not gonna give you guys disingenuous content just for the sake of like, oh well, we got to do it and blah 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 and this that and the other, and like you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know me. I'm a connoisseur of consistency, and like all of those things are still true, but it's that thing of where um, I was trying to look into doing something different. Um, I was uh, try to do something a little different, and I was trying to like I was trying to make the attempt to trying to make the attempt to transition to a desktop level desktop version of streaming. Um, For those of y'all that are new, I do a browser based use a browsing based streaming software. Uh, which actually, like, you know what I mean. Which again, after all the different stuff that I tried to attempt, and a couple of them like not working, and a few of them, anytime I booted it up, literally almost made my laptop explode. Um, uh, I just decided to say, you know what, we're just gonna put a little bit more love and attention and TLC and things into this software, so or into, you know what I mean, the setup that we have right now. Um, and for what it's worth, I'm rocking with it. It's working. I'm getting a lot more compliments uh, from it and about it. So, you know what I mean. If y'all like it, I love it. Uh, a lot of y'all are saying this is a lot. It's a lot better for y'all as opposed to just seeing my face and just seeing just my face. Like, at least there's like a cool little background with it, and it's not just so naked and afraid. So yeah, but other than that, like, you know what I mean, like the biggest thing is where it's just like I needed that week-long break because I didn't want to just come out and say it. I was uh, I had some other stuff which I still can't talk about just yet, but I had some other stuff that I had to work on. But also, uh, yeah, I had a couple of things that I had to work on. Um, One of those things was I reworked the stream schedule, um, and which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But saying all that to say, where it's just like, yeah, like I've had that conversation too with a lot of people, where it's just like, bro, like, you know what I mean? It really don't, like, all it really do is take for you to put something out for me to like remember how talented you are. And it's just like I don't say no, like, don't take that as no disrespect, but it's just like you don't be posting like that. And it's that thing of where, like, again, just saying that to say that, like, I've had to explain that to a lot of people, where it just like like, again, I don't know what your guy, I don't know what any of y'all who see this, what y'all beliefs are, um, if you have any at all. Um, and I'm not telling, and I'm that type of individual. I'm not telling you what to believe, but as for me, as for your boy, um, it's that thing. It's that thing it's just that thing of where that's said in the good book, where you're supposed to be in the world. The good book is the Bible. For those of y'all that might need context, um, well, the good book I'm talking about being the Bible. Um, but there's a scripture on there that says like you're supposed to be in the world, not of the world. Um, I apply that to everything that I do. I'm in content creation, but I'm not of content creation. That being said, to say that like I'm on the internet, and like I'm on the internet, but the internet is not my whole entire, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, the internet is not my whole identity and existence. Uh, so yeah, all that being said, goals, like I do have goals as far as like all of that is concerned, but the whole thing is that I'm not gonna burn myself out on the internet for the sake of like reaching those goals. Uh, it's that whole thing of where it's just like when all of this stuff in the coming weeks, days, and months starts to like roll out and roll around, you'll understand and be like, oh, you're like, oh yeah, okay, well that'd be making sense why sometimes he kind of just disappears for a little bit, and then yeah, because yeah, sometimes I have to do that. Not like, you know what I mean, but like yeah, sometimes I be having to do that. So because one thing I'm not gonna do is burn myself out. Um, One, because if I do, I'll never hear the end of it. Um, Two, I'm not trying to get cussed out about it. Um, and three, which is actually like really the most important thing. Like again, in the middle of working on some more important things. So yeah, that's all I can say on that for right now. Um, all that being said, apparently Tim's got another chance to do the actual tiny desk because y'all know the last time Tim's did one, she did she did tiny desk from she did the tiny desk home concert series. Um, so she actually got a chance to do the actual tiny desk concert. I have not seen it yet, um, but apparently, according to Twitter, she really set the vibe for real, and it's a lot of people's favorite one this year. Um, we're gonna react to it tomorrow on stream. We have a lot of stuff to catch up on as far as reactions are concerned. I mean, not a lot, but we have a couple of things that have been deemed um, according to the people very important, uh, and they want to and they really want to see these things happen. So yeah, man, yeah, man. Uh, but yeah, so you know what I mean. All I'm saying is I brought that up to say that I'm really excited to see it now. Um, More excited to see it with you all. So come through tomorrow, twitch.tv/BVNB1 underscore 47 or kick.com/ same exact thing. Uh, you know what I mean? You're gonna be on Twitch and Kick tomorrow. really turning up and having a vibe with that, over there. Um, so again, switching switching gears again, for all my traveling folks. I know y'all been hearing about this for some years now. About the conversation regarding the real ID being like this thing that's like going to be like your requirement, um, to have if you intend on traveling. Um, I know those conversations kind of died down for a little bit, um, because at least on the airline side of things, the airline was like, "We're not going to make that a requirement. That's stupid. We're going to lose money." Um, that still seems to be their stance. Um, the airline companies, mind you. Now, certain states, i.e., for those of you again who are new, I'm from California, um, or I'm in California rather. Uh, especially out here in Cali, like they're really like making that push, um, to like really like make that a thing. Um, yeah, like they're really like that's really like the big push that they're pushing for, as far as that whole entire thing is concerned. Um, and yeah, so conversations regarding that are heating up. They're actually becoming like some really like heated conversations behind it. My thought process on it, I understand why, as far as California is concerned, why they want to make it, um, why they want to make it a thing, because at least for California, at least for California, they want to try to do away. They want to try not do away, but they want to try to, make this real ID thing kind of be like in place of a passport, in a sense, used as a passport replacement, um, which is stupid because again, like you know what I mean. It's like you would still, depending on what country you're going to, you would still like a passport would still like need to be required. So yeah, um, so I get it. Like they're just trying to like simplify things and like make things easier on that end. I, however, am on the side. I'm right there with the airline businesses of them being like that's stupid. We're gonna lose money. Um, because again, like it's just that thing of where like I don't know, like there's know a lot of people where like it's just like due to circumstances, it's not the easiest thing for them to get a hold of their birth certificate. Uh, like you know what I mean? It's not the easiest thing for them to get a hold of all of the things that are required, um, to acquire one of those real, like you know what I mean, to be able to acquire a real ID. Um, so yeah, I don't understand why. Like, um, it would just make things a little bit more complicated as far as traveling is concerned, and especially for me, I do, in the next coming years. Like one of the goals is to start traveling a lot, a bit more. So yeah, So that's where I'm at with. So that's just where I'm at with that. Um. Oh, switching back gears for a second. Speaking of, for whatever reason, said I'm ready. Let's go. Like yeah, yeah. That's a personal goal of mine. I'm ready to I'm ready to kind of get back to running around and traveling a little bit more. Um, Especially considering the fact that it's a lot of folks, um, like content creator friends and other things like folks that I like want to see, uh, want to meet up with, want to do some things with as far as content is concerned. And then also just some folks I always want to see, kick it with, hang with. Um, Time some spend with. All other things, yeah. So yeah, so that's just where I'm at with that. So yeah, I just know that requiring a real ID in order for me to travel would just make that more difficult. So yeah, I'm on that stance where it's just like you just go fuck around and lose a bunch of money because if it winds up becoming easier for me to uh, get a rental car than it is for me to buy a plane ticket, like yeah, you gonna fuck around with the fuck arounds, and it just again, it's a lot of places where um, again, respectfully would love there is like I do want do our goal is to be able to take some time and go to some of these conventions next year, or yeah, for sure in the if not next year, at least hopefully the following year. Would like to be able to start going to some of these going to some of these cons, um, and seeing and meeting y'all folks, seeing and meeting y'all folks at these cons for real, for real. Um, I do want to start doing some more things as far as like turning up and doing some performances with some of the other fellow big creators um, that are in the music space. So yeah, I just got a lot of goals and plans as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. So yeah, so if it comes down to that thing where it means I gotta either get help with getting a rental or like get somebody to help with like again, if that process winds up becoming easier than like getting a plane ticket, as much as I don't want to drive that far, it's some of those things. I'm just saying, from here to Dallas is a longer drive than it is a flight. Um, so you know, let's just as far as California is concerned with that, let's just not make that a more complicated thing regarding the real ID situation. So that's my thought on it. Um, Switching back gears for a second, talking about speaking of people that it's two things. I'm starting to realize that there's a certain age group uh, that's getting older, that's getting to that point where like they're on the internet a little. They're you know what I mean. They're on the internet a little bit more, and so they're starting to be able, like, you know what I mean. And now they're at that point of where they're able to do their research as far as like some stuff is concerned. So for whatever reason, earlier today on Twitter, like Aaliyah performances and like Aaliyah songs started going viral or whatever, and it's just because of the fact that you know what I mean. These internet kiddos are kind of starting to figure out that again that you know you're starting to figure out that Aaliyah was actually Aaliyah was like really that was really that girl for all intents and purposes, right? Uh, so again, to you kiddos that are just now like discovering that, all I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna say duh, because that's a little demeaning. Like, you know what I mean? That makes y'all feel kind of dumb or slow. Y'all aren't either of those things. Um, y'all just in a sense are a little bit late to the party. Um, as far as something like that is concerned, so like welcome is all I'm gonna say. Uh, but yes, so just saying all that to say yes, Aaliyah was a very very talented young lady. Um, she yeah, she was definitely she definitely was. I don't care what any of y'all say or think. She was definitely a super duper inspiration for a lot of the fashion looks that a lot of my tomboy girlies are bringing back. Um, yeah, yeah, a lot of my tomboy girlies are, you know what I mean. That a lot of those looks that y'all are kind of rediscovering and bringing back, or discovering for the first time. Like, yeah, Aaliyah did a lot of those looks first. Um, and it's really cute to me that for those of y'all that are a little bit on the younger side, that y'all are like kind of like just now discovering that for the first time. Um, and again, and it might not be for the other ones. Like, I don't know how you like for the other ones that are just like I never realized that. For those of you guys that are on the other side of the conversation, being like, oh, so this is why y'all was like, this is why y'all be talking about Aaliyah the way that y'all be talking about. I don't know how y'all grew up. I don't know how you grew up. So maybe you were that individual that had a different kind of upbringing, and maybe you weren't allowed to listen to um, this type of music. Um, like, you know what I mean? The type of music that Aaliyah and like individuals like that make. So, like, you know what I mean? It's not like super raunchy or provocative, but like, again, I have a lot of friends that I have a lot of friends that you know what I mean, that's just kind of that's the story of where they're at right now. Um, because of the fact that now they're good and grown, they're kind of just now discovering that, oh, like Brandy's music is actually fire. Aaliyah's music is actually fire. Um, Alicia Keys, for what, despite the fact of what any of you Canegros say, is like actually has some music that's fire. So, so like I get that. And these are coming from like good friends of where like I know their story. Like they were only allowed to like the closest thing that they can you know what I mean? I have one friend, I have one church friend that like his parents were like so strict he wasn't even allowed to listen to Kirk Franklin. And yeah, I know a lot of y'all, not y'all in chat, but a lot of y'all that are gonna come and see this and be like, Kirk Franklin, isn't he a gospel singer? Yes, but you said that's wow. I know. That's how I was when they told me that. I was like, Kirk Franklin was a no. It's like, but again, the more that I think about it, for some self-proclaimed like hardcore Christians would consider, like, you know what I mean, would consider like Kirk Franklin to be a little bit more of like provocative gospel music because of the fact of that, like, you know what I mean, like it draws from those hip hop elements and things of that nature. So like, I'm not excusing it. I just understand. Like, I'm not excusing it or like being like, oh well, that's okay. Like, but like I'm understanding where one would come from. Uh, Again, I like you all in chat. I personally think it's a little dumb, but again, I also get it. Um, just cause, you know, it's that thing, right? It's that thing where, especially like with somebody like a Kirk Franklin, he kind of, and especially y'all got to think this is like when Kirk Franklin came out, it was the early '90s. I want to say, um, you know what I mean. Kirk Franklin was a part of my childhood, so I caught him in the early 2000s. But he again, even then, I knew he had been around for a minute. Um, you know what I mean. He had been around for a cool little, not a long minute, but a bit of a minute when I had caught up with him. So yeah, um, and even then, when I had caught up with him, it was some folks in the gospel space that was just like, he's flirting with that line and he getting a little too close for comfort for me. So I'm not really like, I get it, um, and I'm not gonna sit here and say he's not called to like this is not the call on his life and da 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 da. It's just it's a no for me. And I'm just like, but it's just a different kind of it's still gospel music. It's a different flavor, if you will. Saying all that to say, again, it's that thing of why I'm understanding of why now these same friends that are on that side of where it's just like, I understand now why you such a big fan of like the Brandies and the Aaliyahs and the Monicas and like, you know what I mean. and the SWVs and the TLCs and like all that thing, like you know what I mean, and all of that. It's like, yeah, man, like the escapes and like it's like, yeah, bro, like it's like, yeah. So you know what I mean on both sides. It's just like, yeah, like you know what I mean. Like Aaliyah, she was a very very talented young lady. Um, so for all of the people, all of the Twitter folks that are just now discovering that, uh, in the words of Pop, in the words of the late Pop Smoke, baby, welcome to the party. uh, you know, welcome, hi. Um, the great thing about something like music is like you know what I mean, and that's just one of the like realest reasons of why like I love making and doing music as much as I do. Um, because again, like it's that thing of where it's just like you can't control who and when the like folks are gonna like discover your stuff. Um, so I just think it's like it's I just think it's super dope that like now this is the place and space. These are the places and spaces that we're in, um, where like yeah, like this is the places and spaces that we're in where we get to do that kind of like you know what I mean. We get to do that kind of thing. Um, well, yeah, well, just because of the fact that again, you never know who your music is going to impact and when. Um, because again, like for the people that for these Twitter folks like that, like Aaliyah been gone for a minute now, y'all. But they just now are like you know what I mean. But they are today years old as far as like being introduced to like you know what I mean. Her whole everything, her like you know what I mean, like her style, like you know what I mean, her styling, her like, you know what I mean, her music, the stuff that she did with Temp, like, and now people are understanding of why, like you know what I mean. And now these same individuals are now kind of understanding and putting the like you know what I mean, and putting the stuff together, and being like, oh, that's why y'all are like. That's why when anybody mentions Timberland, y'all are calling Timberland a goat, and like you know what I mean, why he's in that conversation as far as like goat producers and things of that nature. It's just like, yeah, bro, like yeah, bro. He didn't just pop out with Justin Timberlake, and we were like, oh, this nigga's the greatest nigga ever. Like nah, like yeah, like it's a reason. Like it's a resume to that, and like you know what I mean. To have somebody as dope as Aaliyah be a part of that man's resume, um, I think it's super duper dope. I personally feel like Aaliyah would have still been Aaliyah, um, regardless of being introduced to a Timberland, just because I think she's that talented. Um, like you know what I mean? Just because I think like you know what I mean, and hearing her voice, I think she was that talented. Like I don't think it would have mattered. Um, but I do think, um, I firmly do believe like her crossing paths with somebody like a Timbo when she crossed paths with him, um, was for a purpose and was on purpose. So I think that's super duper dope. Um, as always, rest in paradise to the beautiful Queen Aaliyah. Um, you will always be gone and not forgotten. So that's just really all I had on that discussion as far as uh, plugging that back into the topic that we had earlier with the Janae Aiko thing. Um, all my streaming service people, I don't, you know what I mean. Again, I'm not telling you all my streaming service people. I don't know if you guys have uh, Max, or AKA formerly known as HBO Max. Um, them folks is in trouble again. Um, uh, Now, disclaimer: I don't have all of the details regarding this situation. Um, but from the details that I did gather before I went live with this stream, I do know that that um, somebody or somebodies on the Max staff offended some folks. Um, offended some folks of the LGBTQ community, or you know what I mean, or as our friend, or as my good, or as a good friend, Duran Bernard would say, the he offended some folks of the eligibility community. Um, uh, LGBTQ, for those of you that are like eligibility. He offended some folks that I don't think they work for Max anymore, considering the statements that were said and considering that they have now leaked and been released to the public. Not the eligibility, yes, the eligibility community. Um, um, but yes, for all of our LGBTQIA plus babies, um, they offended our babies, yo. Is what I'm saying. Folks made some statements. I want to say about midnight. These statements about midnight of May 31st, turning when May 31st was turning into June 1st, um, which would have been the first day of the month of Pride, is when these statements were released to the public. Um, well, first, what had happened is about that time, the I don't know who, but somebody in the higher up office at Max was like released a statement apologizing, and I was like, it's like, hey, sorry again, y'all. We messed up, uh, but some stuff is gonna some stuff done came up, and we gonna fix it and address it. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything of it at the time because the other stuff hadn't came out yet. Um, but they so I just thought it had something to do like with the actual like platform itself. I was like, okay, well maybe it's breaking and they're like like maybe it's been breaking on folks and they're apologizing and they're gonna try to fix it. Uh, to then fast forward a couple of days later and then it was like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know how you're going to fix this, but yes, you should definitely fix um, these things that have been said. Um, which again leads back into what I said earlier. Um, which is just a big thing regarding this whole thing. Um, I am again saying to all of you phobes, to all of you phobic people, I don't care if you're homophobic, xenophobic, like whatever. I'm not talking about all of you people that have like arachnophobia or hydrophobia. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about you folks. I'm talking about you people who, for whatever reason, um, have reasons with people living a lifestyle that in all actuality does not affect you or your personal or day-to-day life in any capacity whatsoever. um yeah, you are the ugly stank breath stank forehead motherfuckers who I'm talking to. um because due to the fact that um how these beautiful individuals decide to live their life does not, like, you know what I mean, like due to the fact that what these beautiful individuals eat do not make you shit and who they fuck does not make you come, it it should not be as big of a deal and as big of an issue as it is. um so let's just start there. Now, to my good folks of the church, I get it. What their lifestyle does not align with what is in the good word. That does not mean you should hate these people. Like, that does not mean you should not treat these people like people. You should not treat should not treat that. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't treat my babies like they're not people, because they're still people. And you really want to know the best way that you can counter that? You just love these folks through whatever it is that they're going through. That's the best way that you can handle that. Now I get it. There's people that have made jokes and been like, "Oh, it's real crazy that church folk want to sit there and be having issues with people from the eligibility community. When if you do that, who gonna direct their choirs?" It's like, okay, first of all, that joke is corny. Those jokes are corny. Is all I'm gonna say about that. um, yeah, those jokes are mad corny. But it's just that thing of where it's just like, again, like I've said before, you don't have to agree with the lifestyle. That's not what I'm coming on here saying. You don't want to. You don't have to agree with the lifestyle. With the lifestyle. With the life um, that my babies in the LGBTQ uh, plus community live. But the biggest thing of where, like I've said that before, I have many friends that are, again, that's why I call them my babies, because I have a lot of very very good friends that are members of the community, and I love them folks like they was my brothers and my sisters, and I would slide for them just the same way I would slide for anybody in my family. So again, it's just that thing for me of where, like, when I see stuff like that actually does, like, it really does grind my gears, and make me feel some type of way. Um, Forgive me for a second. I'm trying to stop shaking because that's how upset I am. All right, cool. Um, yeah. Um, Again, like I said, respectfully with love, you don't have to agree with the lifestyle that these folks lead. That these beautiful human beings lead. Um, but one thing that you're not gonna do, especially around me, one thing that you damn sure not gonna do is you not gonna treat these beautiful people like they're people. And you better not let me catch you doing it, because you're not gonna like me if I catch you doing it. So, like I said before, respectfully with love, you don't have to agree with it. You don't gotta like it. You don't gotta, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta sit there and be like, "Oh, this is great." It's like, "Oh, it's like, oh, you're a." It's like, "Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. That's lovely." Ain't nobody said to do all that. Ain't nobody said to do all that. But at the end of the day, these are still people that are trying to figure out this thing called life, just like you. And respectfully with love, that's the one thing on this earth that, like, that and any kind of ism. You just go down the list: classism, sexism, any of that. I'm not a fan of that either. Um, and also, chat and viewers. I'm gonna just come out and say this right now. Um, Not gonna get into super detailed, like super duper detailed and name names, but I, like, you know what I mean. The other reason of why this is so important, uh, is because of the fact that, more or less, I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. Not only is it that I have, um, friends that, again, that are, you know what I mean, friends that are, you know what I mean. that are members of the LGBTQ plus community. Um, I also have members of my family that are homophobic. So it's that thing of where again it's that issue for me of where like it's super that thing of where like that is like it's one of those things that's like duper not cool for me because of the fact that again I have people that I'm talking about that are like lifelong friends that are gay, lesbian, transgender, pansexual, like all of that. So yeah, it's just that thing for me where it's just like, yeah, no, that shit ain't shit ain't cool. Is all I'm gonna say as far as that's concerned. Shit ain't cool. Um, and again, I know a bunch of not a bunch, but I know a few people will be like, "Oh, well, that's crazy. Like, why you ain't never said nothing?" It's like, "Oh, that's crazy. Like, why you ain't never said nothing to your family?" First of all, who said I haven't? But it's also that thing of where it's just like the way that I talk um, in my music on here on these platforms that I have on the internet. You can't just talk like that to everybody, especially not to your family. Um, Literally, the only thing that I just do is I just make sure that my family understands that not that they gotta watch their mouth, but it's just that thing where it's just like as far as that stuff is concerned, it's just like, hey, bro, like that shit ain't isn't cool. Like that shit isn't cool. That's one part of it. And again, another part of it is just that um, for all you semi super macho niggas that I don't know whoever told you this, but for whatever reason you get uncomfortable around all right, like you know what I mean? They get uncomfortable around gay people. Let me just tell you this. Um First of all, respectfully with love, I don't know who um I don't know who gave you the delusion that every dude that's gay wants to fuck you. Um Let me just give you a news flash that somebody who has friends who are male that are gay, they don't. They don't. Like just because they're gay, they still have types. So sorry, not sorry if that crushes your little ego. It'd be like, I don't want no gay people around me because I ain't trying to get touched in my butt. Who who said they who said they wanted you? First of all, who said they wanted you? Ain't nobody just said that. I'm just saying no, but you so you're just assuming that you're just this super desirable individual that every gay dude in America, every gay man in America wants to have sex with. First of all, to those same individuals, every woman in America doesn't even want to fuck you. So what on God's green earth makes you think I'll get my foot off y'all neck. I'll get my foot off y'all neck. I don't want to cook y'all boys too hard. But I'm just saying, like, every heterosexual woman in America don't even want to fuck a lot of you niggas. So you think every gay nigga in America okay. Um we went off on a bit of a tangent, but just saying all of that to say, because of the things that have been coming out, folks are deciding to stop streaming, um, stop using, stop streaming on, stop using their Max streaming services. Um, they ain't deleted them, but they just decided to stop using them, probably for like 2 weeks until some of y'all niggas get fake outraged about something else. Um, whereas somebody with this, where a situation like this, it kind of like not not even kind of like the high, like middle key, high key. This hits like a little bit closer to home. I mean, because again, like I said, I got LGBTQ babies. They're my babies. Like I care for them just as much as I care for anybody in my family. Uh, I care for all of them just as much as I would like slide and ride and die for any of my baby cousins. Like it runs that deep for me. So uh, sliding in GTA Twitch, by the way, because I don't need y'all. Oh, no problems as far as that's concerned. Um, but yeah, yeah, just all in all, like just stop with that hating shit. Like It's just all of y'all that are just like, "Yeah, I don't like it. It's weird. I don't understand it." Okay, well, you're weird, and people don't understand you, and yet you still keep living life. So let them folk live theirs. You stanky forehead, motherfucker. Okay, anyway, into who's in. I digress. I digress. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're new, go ahead and leave a like, and subscribe if you even made it to this point. Um, because I probably, you know what I mean. And chances are, if you made it to this point, you're probably not a Swifty. Because I know anytime you either, yeah, you're either not a Swifty or you kind of were able to stomach all the other tough conversations that we had today. They better have made it this far. I know that's right. Um, but for those that did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Uh, the socials are right here and also in the description down below. Uh, if you are not streaming the music, uh, I'm gonna just count it up to two different things. If you're not streaming the music, you either didn't know that I made music. Well, newsflash, I do. Um, or you just hate life and don't want to be happy at all. So, and you know what I mean. For your sake, I hope it's the former and not the latter. Um, because you know, there's no reason to hate life and happiness. Bob the ghost watching you from your closet. I listen. That sounds like a very uncomfortable time. So if you don't want Bob the ghost to watch you from your closet, stream the music. Um, the Time Sand single is out. Come hell or high water, the Emo Church Boy Diaries mixtape will come out. Um, yeah, I don't care if I got to fight for every single song on that project. Um, or yeah, all of that. So yeah, it's gonna come out regardless. Um, Willing to fight for it that much because I believe in it that much, and it's something that you guys are gonna want to. Not you guys, but the so many people in the world are just gonna need to hear this project. Um, yeah, come and catch us on Twitch and or Kick BVMB1 underscore 47. Tap in with your boy. Um, You gonna write a song for it? That'd be kind of counterproductive because it's already done. But thank you. uh, I think. Yeah. Again. Okay. For the next one. Uh, Also, if you're new, subscribe. It's a lot of stuff that goes up on this channel. The Showstopper TV series. Um, aside from the days that we actually stream on here, um, which are Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Um, yeah, which are Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Um, which are Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You know what I mean. We occasionally we'll throw up a little vod on there. Um, did I say Mondays and no, not Thursdays, Mondays and Saturdays. So yeah, aside from the times that we're not streaming live on here, um, which is Mondays and Saturdays. I don't know why I said Thursdays, but Thursdays are now are the day where we stream. Um, yeah, yeah, now a day where we stream, and Tuesdays look a little bit different because they're no longer the R&B church services, but I mean those aren't gone. We're just gonna make that a thing where you have to be a part of the Discord. Links to all of that stuff is in the description. Um, yeah, I decided just to make that more of a Discord exclusive thing. Um, it was also suggested to do like movie nights and some other things that I do want to plan on doing. Um, and just some more, just some more other things that I want to do over there and kind of classified. But yeah, you have to join the Discord for that. Um, and if you don't know what the Discord is, exclamation point clubhouse in the chat. Um, that'll be the link there for that. And you know what I mean. that'll just give you the linky. It'll just give you the linkity link for that. And yeah, man. If anything, if it ain't nothing else, uh, yeah, the rest of the socials are also in the description, so that's a thing. So just stream the music. Yeah, yeah. Nothing else. All minds are clear. Um, know that if this is the first time that you're hearing this, today, tomorrow, whenever it is that you're watching this, know that you are important. You do matter, and your life is important and does have value. Um, I know the internet and some parts of society would like to tell you otherwise, but I'd like to say respectfully to those individuals, fuck them. And actually, no, not respectfully to those to the individuals that are saying stuff like that. Yeah, fuck those individuals. Because you know what I mean. The kind of people you don't need to be around or should have around you anyway. And yeah, what you're looking for is outside. Not is not outside you. It never has been, and it never will be. Shout out to my brother Ray Dog for that. And yeah, man, always remember to be 100% comfortable in your truth, even in the uncomfortable moments in life. Uh, Chatters, I will see you all tomorrow around 4 p.m. Pacific time. Pacific time. Uh, yeah, y'all are usually super understanding, even if I am a little bit late. Um, and yeah, I'm not even going. I'm not even going to wish the fact that I don't stream because I definitely will. I can't tell time, so you're good. Oh my God. All that being said, on that note, I love y'all. I'm going to try my best not to miss y'all. Meantime, in between time, take all of this good love with y'all. Um, I'm about to shake the scene like a bad dream. I'm Audi 3000, y'all. Peace and love. Bye.